Welcome to the secret world of Rolex, where myth, prestige, and mystery all come together. This legendary brand isn't just about luxury watches, it's about the stories and secrets behind them. Hidden away in Geneva, Rolex's facilities are shrouded in secrecy, sparking curiosity and fascination around the globe. Today, we're peeling back the curtain to see what makes Rolex so much more than just a name on your wrist. Let's rewind to the very beginning of Rolex. It all starts with Hans Wilsdorf, born in Germany in the late 1800s. Early in life, Hans faced some tough challenges, including losing his parents at a young age. These experiences didn't break him. They actually shaped his determination and attention to detail. It's this resilience and drive that would later fuel his vision for creating one of the world's most iconic watch brands. Hans Wilsdorf's journey kicks off in Switzerland, where he first dipped his toes into the pearl trade. But it wasn't long before he stumbled upon the fascinating world of watchmaking. Imagine going from dealing with shiny pearls to precision timepieces. It's quite the leap. This early exposure sparked his curiosity and set the stage for what would become a lifelong passion for horology. Little did he know, these first steps would lay the groundwork for a revolution in the watch industry. Let's rewind to the early 1900s, when Hans Wilsdorf made the big move to London. This wasn't just a change of scenery, it was the start of something huge. Along with his brother-in-law, Alfred Davis, he founded Wilsdorf and Davis Limited. Their goal? To import quality Swiss watch movements and assemble them into stylish cases for the British market. These first steps laid the groundwork for what would eventually become one of the world's most famous watch brands. Hans had a pretty clever plan. Instead of just selling basic watches, he decided to move up the value chain. He started importing top-notch Swiss movements, the tiny engines that make watches tick, and then assembled his own watches around them. This way, he combined Swiss precision with his own unique designs, making his brand stand out from the crowd. It's a smart move that helped him offer quality without reinventing the wheel. Let's talk about why brands are so keen on putting their name front and center on watches. It's not just about showing off. It's a way to guarantee that what you're wearing is the real deal. That signature on the dial is like a stamp of authenticity, telling you this watch isn't a knockoff. Plus, it's a way for brands to show off their craftsmanship and make sure everyone knows who's behind the quality. In the world of watches, that little logo is a big deal. Back in the early days, wristwatches weren't exactly the go-to accessory. Most people stuck with pocket watches, thinking wristwatches were just a fad. But then came stories from the battlefield, where soldiers needed something practical, something they could check quickly without fumbling around. That's what caught Wilsdorf's attention. Inspired by these real-life needs, he decided to bet big on the wristwatch, believing it could be more than just a trend. It could change how people kept time. Coming up with a brand name isn't always easy, especially when you want something that sticks in people's minds. That's exactly what happened with Rolex. The founders wanted a name that was short, catchy, and easy to pronounce in any language. After tossing around a bunch of ideas, they landed on Rolex, a name that didn't mean anything in particular, but sounded smooth and memorable. In 1908, they made it official by registering the name, setting the stage for one of the most iconic watch brands in history. Back in the day, getting a watch officially certified for accuracy was a big deal, kind of like earning a gold star for being the best in class. Rolex jumped right into this race, aiming to prove their watches weren't just stylish, but also super precise. They set their sights on the Royal Observatory in England, which was the go-to place for testing timepieces. Passing these tough tests meant Rolex could proudly say their watches were among the most reliable in the world. This official recognition helped cement Rolex's reputation for quality and precision. During World War I, life in the trenches was chaotic and unpredictable. Soldiers needed a quick and reliable way to keep track of time, especially for coordinating attacks or retreats. That's where the wristwatch came in. It was way more practical than the old pocket watches, which were fiddly and easy to lose in the heat of battle. Pretty soon, the wristwatch wasn't just a handy tool. It became an essential piece of gear for every soldier. This shift turned the wristwatch from a niche accessory into a must-have item, both on the battlefield and back home. Rolex didn't just choose Switzerland for its beautiful landscapes. It was all about the practical stuff, too. High taxes and tricky logistics in other countries made assembling watches elsewhere a real headache. Switzerland offered a smoother ride, with efficient transport and a tax system that made life easier for businesses. By moving its assembly here, Rolex set the stage for its Swiss identity, linking its brand to quality and precision. This decision wasn't just about watches. It was about building a reputation that would last for generations. Rolex has an exclusive partnership with the manufacturer Jean Aigle, and that's a pretty big deal. This collaboration means Rolex gets first pick of some of the best watch movements out there. Basically, the engines that make their watches tick. By locking in this relationship, Rolex ensures top-notch quality and reliability, setting them apart from other brands. It's one of the key reasons why their watches are known for precision and durability. After World War II, Rolex really started to make waves. The brand became synonymous with Swiss quality and cutting-edge innovation, setting itself apart from the competition. People began to see Rolex not just as a watchmaker, but as a symbol of reliability and prestige. Their clever marketing and technical breakthroughs helped cement their reputation worldwide. Basically, if you wanted a watch that screamed excellence, Rolex was the name everyone knew. Competition was heating up in the 1920s, and Rolex knew they had to step up their game. To stay ahead, they focused on making their watches more durable, especially when it came to water resistance. This drive led them to develop new technologies that kept their timepieces safe from moisture and dust. Thanks to these innovations, Rolex watches became known not just for style, but also for reliability in tough conditions. Imagine inventing something so cool that it changes an entire industry. That's exactly what happened when a key patent was acquired and the first waterproof watch case, called the Oyster, was created. Before this, watches couldn't handle water, so getting them wet was basically a disaster. The Oyster made it possible to wear your watch anywhere, rain, swimming, you name it. This breakthrough didn't just protect watches. It set a new standard for reliability and innovation in the world of timekeeping. Hans Wilsdorf, the founder of Rolex, had a knack for marketing that was way ahead of his time. Instead of relying on traditional ads, he used real-life sporting achievements to showcase the reliability of his watches. One famous example is Mercedes Gleitze's swim across the English Channel, where she wore a Rolex to prove its durability. This clever move not only grabbed headlines but also built trust with the public. By linking Rolex to impressive feats, Wilsdorf made the brand synonymous with adventure and excellence. Rolex doesn't just rely on traditional ads to sell its watches. Instead, the brand focuses on building a strong reputation and a luxurious image. You'll see Rolex sponsoring major sporting events and partnering with influential figures, which helps them stay top of mind without flashy commercials. This approach creates an aura of exclusivity and trust, making people want a Rolex not just for the product, but for what it represents. It's a clever move that keeps the brand iconic and desirable, all without bombarding you with ads. Back in the 1920s, Rolex wasn't the ultra-exclusive luxury brand we know today. Their watches were priced much more accessibly, making them a realistic option for a wider range of people. Instead of being reserved for the wealthy elite, Rolex was focused on quality and innovation, but without the hefty price tag. It's pretty wild to think that a brand now synonymous with status and luxury started out as something far more attainable. Let's talk about the invention of the automatic winding mechanism with a silent rotor. This was a game changer for the watch industry. Instead of having to wind your watch by hand every day, the rotor uses your wrist movements to keep things ticking. Not only did this make watches way more convenient, but it also pushed brands to innovate and compete. Basically, it set the stage for the modern watches we know and love today. Let's talk about the rise of the Oyster Perpetual and how it changed the game for automatic watches. Back in the day, owning an automatic watch was pretty exclusive, something reserved for collectors or those with deep pockets. But the Oyster Perpetual made this technology more accessible, bringing reliable self-winding movements to everyday wrists. Suddenly, you didn't need to wind your watch every morning, and more people could enjoy the convenience and style of automatic timekeeping. It's a classic example of innovation trickling down and becoming part of daily life. Let's rewind to the 1930s, when watch design took a big leap forward. Suddenly, crowns started popping up on cases, making it easier to set the time. Designers began mixing steel and gold, creating watches that looked both sturdy and stylish. And those grooves you see on the bezel? That's when candelabres made their debut, adding a touch of texture and elegance. These changes weren't just about looks, they helped shape the modern watch as we know it. Rolex isn't just a watch brand, it's a global icon of luxury. When people think of high-end timepieces, Rolex is usually the first name that comes to mind. Their reputation is built on top-notch quality and a sense of prestige that's hard to match. Whether it's celebrities, athletes, or collectors, owning a Rolex is often seen as a status symbol. It's this blend of craftsmanship and exclusivity that keeps Rolex at the top of the luxury watch game. Rolex didn't just stay in Switzerland, they went global. As the world edged closer to World War II, Rolex expanded into new markets, making their watches a must-have for people everywhere. This move wasn't just about prestige, it sent their revenues soaring. Even in uncertain times, the brand managed to turn international growth into a huge financial win. Pretty impressive for a company that started out making wristwatches in a small workshop. During World War II, Rolex played a surprisingly important role, especially for pilots in the Royal Air Force. Their watches weren't just stylish accessories. They were reliable tools that helped pilots keep track of time during critical missions. In fact, Rolex even offered replacements to prisoners of war who lost their watches, trusting they'd pay later. This gesture earned the brand a reputation for both quality and integrity. So, when you think of Rolex, it's not just about luxury, it's also about history and real-world impact. After World War II, Rolex wanted to mark a fresh start, and that's where the Datejust and the Jubilee bracelet come in. The Datejust was the first wristwatch to automatically change the date, which was pretty revolutionary at the time. Paired with the Jubilee bracelet, it wasn't just about telling time, it was about style and sophistication. These two features quickly became symbols of modernity and elegance, setting Rolex apart in the world of luxury watches. Basically, they turned a simple accessory into a statement piece. Let's talk about the prestige strategy. Some watch brands don't just rely on advertising. They actually gift their products to influential people, like politicians or celebrities. The idea is simple. When someone powerful wears their watch, it boosts the brand's reputation and makes it seem more desirable. It's a clever move because suddenly, the watch isn't just a timepiece, it's a status symbol. This approach helps the brand stand out and creates buzz without saying a word. In the 1950s, Rolex made a bold move in its advertising strategy. Instead of just focusing on the technical aspects of their watches, they started presenting Rolex as a symbol of personal achievement. Owning a Rolex wasn't just about telling time. It became a statement that you'd made it, that you were successful. This shift helped the brand connect with people's aspirations, making the watch much more than a simple accessory. Suddenly, a Rolex was all about status and self-confidence. Rolex isn't just a watch brand. It's a symbol that's worn by some of the most influential people around the globe. From world leaders and famous athletes to daring adventurers and cultural icons, these personalities choose Rolex to mark their achievements and milestones. The brand's reputation for precision and durability makes it a favorite among those who push boundaries. It's not just about telling time. It's about making a statement and being part of a legacy. Rolex isn't just a fancy name. It's a brand that's built its reputation on some seriously cool technical innovations. Back in the 1950s, they made waves by creating watches that could stay waterproof all the way down to 100 meters. That was a big deal at the time, especially for divers and adventurers who needed their gear to be tough. This kind of engineering helped set Rolex apart from other watchmakers, making their products not just stylish, but super reliable in the real world. Rolex isn't just a watch brand. It's been right there during some of history's biggest moments. Think about Jacques Cousteau exploring the depths of the ocean, or Chuck Yeager breaking the sound barrier. In both cases, Rolex was on their wrists, quietly proving its reliability. These legendary feats weren't just about adventure. They also helped cement Rolex's reputation as a symbol of precision and toughness. So whenever you see a Rolex, remember it's got a history of being part of some pretty epic stories. Let's talk about how movies can turn everyday objects into icons. When Sean Connery wore a Rolex Submariner in the early James Bond films, it wasn't just a cool accessory. It became a symbol of sophistication and adventure. Suddenly, Rolex wasn't just a watch for divers or collectors. It was the watch for anyone who wanted to feel like a secret agent. That moment launched Rolex straight into pop culture, making it a household name and a must-have for fans around the world. When Hans Wilsdorf passed away in 1960, it marked the end of an era for the brand. Wilsdorf had been the driving force behind its identity and success, so his absence left big shoes to fill. But rather than slowing down, the company saw this as a chance to reinvent itself and tackle fresh challenges. With new leadership and a changing world, Rolex was about to step into a whole new chapter of its story.